Hi there, ladies. Good morning. It is Sarah Shipton from Scrapbooking with Sarah, and I am sharing a pre-recorded video with you today for this week's Technique Tuesday, scheduled to post on Tuesday, June 30. This was the layout that I shared with you yesterday. This is the 5th scrapbooking layout for June, the weekly scrapbooking challenge. And we have been working with the Beautiful Ordinary Life Sweet Collection, and I've been using leftovers from my Extraordinary Life Scrapbooking Workshop kit. I'm super excited to share this layout with you because I have made a bit of a change to it. We are working with pattern 5I, which is on page 76 of the Reflections scrapbook program. This is a how-to, easy to follow instructional guide. You can purchase this book on Amazon. I have also posted the instructions in our Facebook group. But this week's layout features a big 8 by 10 inch photo. Now, I know some of you love creating collages on large photos. So if you have got a collage that you want to make and you want to print that as an 8 by 10 inch photo and put that on your layout, then please do so. If you want to print your photo 8 by 10, awesome. Because all of my layouts were created before I went away, I did not have the luxury of time to go and print 8 by 10 inch photos, and I actually created all of my weekly challenges for the 5 weeks of June that I have shared with you. These were all from photos that I had already printed here at home because I did not have the availability to do a photo print, and I was so happy because that was just so great to know that this particular sweet collection and the colors from it just goes with so many different photos. So I have shared with you some wedding photos, or guests taken at a wedding, I should say, not the actual bride and groom of the wedding. So some outdoors, let's say they're formal photos, right? I have shared obviously some travel photos with you as well. So we have Darwin, we had Queensland, we had Palermo, we had another Darwin layout there as well. So, but some of those photos were just like ordinary life, like Kayla and I at brunch, you know, Kayla and EJ before a wedding, Darren and I obviously on our travels, a bike ride down the, like, you know, esplanade of the Gold Coast. So the thing I love about this suite is it really is just ordinary moments in your life that make life extraordinary. And that is one of the reasons I love to scrapbook, okay? Because we document these moments and the moments turn into memories. And I just love, love, love looking back through my photos and my videos and reading stories. It just gives me so much joy. And I'm really glad that it does for you too. So I have alternated mine. I did not have 8 by 10 inch photo. So what I've done here is I've made an 8 by 10 inch photo space using some landscape 4 by 6 inch photos. And then I've cut other photos down to 4 by 4. Okay. So 4 by 6 and 4 by 4, that whole math there works out to be 8 by 10. And I have duplicated that. And I've just done a mirror image of this layout on the right hand side. Now, you guys did get a little bit of a sneak peek of this layout last week. I'm not sharing the layout with you with the memory protector on top because I love this photo of Miss KK. So I'm just going to leave it as is for today. Let's walk through your paper dimensions. It's super easy. Now, for your base pages, I actually use Timid Tiger for my base pages for obvious reasons. It just goes, this color goes so well with sunset photos. And it is important to note the lighter side of Timid Tiger. I think the original color was a little bit too harsh. So I've got the lighter side of Timid Tiger here. Now I did switch this up a little bit because you are meant to use a piece of cardstock as your base and then stick paper here, and paper here. Well, I wanted the Timid Tiger on there. And there's no designer series paper in this sweet collection that is colored with Timid Tiger unless you cut down the piece that has got like the multicolored watercolor type design on it, right? You could do that, right, if you wanted the Timid Tiger, but there's no other DSP that has got Timid Tiger as like a standout color, right? So this piece here is this is the cardstock base, and I've left that at 3 inches. And then you're going to cut 2 other pieces. This is great. Look at the very little amount of paper that I've used. You could definitely use scraps from a scrapbooking workshop kit for this layout, guys. So these strips here 8 inches in length, but just 2 inches in width. And then the strip that runs along the bottom here, runs the whole way along the 12 inches of your page, that's only 1 inches. Now, I will give you a tip with this paper here, because this pattern, there is a little bit of a gap between this. This is a continual pattern on your paper, and there is a little bit of a gap between this pattern, and in fact, there's a bit of a gap on the edges as well. It's about 1/8 of an inch off. So I mirror imaged my paper. I did cut the 1/8 of an inch off the edge, and then I cut another 1/8 of an inch off between the next row of this pattern of DSP. Okay, and that's how I was able to get a perfect match of my 1 inch 1 inch strips along the bottom here. So when I created this layout, I put my bottom piece down first, and then I did put my side pieces on next, and then I fit my photos in. Now, there's always a possibility where you're going to have a tiny little gap. You can see I've got this tiny gap here between the photos. It's weird. Sometimes I see like white willow paper and I think, oh my gosh, is this really 12 inches? Or if I cut this too narrow, if I cut this too narrow. I did obviously cut these 2 photos down to 4x4, but the others were 4x6. You know, it's going to happen. So I would, if you're going to create this kind of collage using photos like I have done here, I would stick my paper pieces down first, and then I butted my photos right up against this strip. And then I butted these photos right up against the edge, because I wanted to cover, you want to cover the base pages. So this is why I've ended up with this tiny little gap of color, but I think it looks gorgeous, right? Tiny little gap of color in between the photos. So as long as you've got it kind of lined up against the outer edges, and I think that would look more streamlined. I sort of looked at the top of this and was like, oh my gosh, it looks really bare. So I just did do like a little stamping border with the rainbow stamp. This is from the Bordered in Beauty. Now, these are smaller stamps because they're not designed for scrapbook layouts. They're designed for cards. And so you can see these are not really long borders. I think off the top of my head, it was 3 inches. So you obviously have to stamp that multiple times. You want to re-ink up in between. So I've just stamped a continual rainbow border along the top there. But one thing I will note that we are seeing with the new catalogue. So I love the new format. You've got the beautiful Ordinary Life suite collection here on pages 28 and 29. You can get the suite in its entirety, or you can buy individual components of the suite. You can see here that this stamp and die cut set, which this is the stamp I've used today, Bordered in Beauty, the little rainbow stamp. I demonstrated these dies in week 2. So you can see that these stamp and dies, well, the hero page is a scrapbook layout. There's lots of little pieces on here. Typically, this is filled with cards, right? So, you know, there's smaller dies, a couple of bigger dies. But the really cool thing is that when you turn over here, you've now got your Scrapbooking Workshop kit, if it coordinates with a suite as such. There are only 3 Scrapbooking Workshop kits in this catalogue. So not every suite, for example, this is the Scenic Coast suite collection. You've just got 2 pages of that. There's no Scrapbooking Workshop kit with that. So Stampin' Up! Are now putting the Scrapbooking Workshop kit and then these scrapbooking products directly behind the suite if we are going to get both, which I love. It just makes the shopping and browsing experience so much more simplified. I love that they really listen to our feedback on that. So you'll see your Scrapbooking Workshop kit, and then you're going to see stamps and dies that are better suited for scrapbooking. So this is the stamp I'm going to play with today. I did demonstrate this stamp set to you in week 1 of our weekly scrapbooking challenges. That was the layout of Kayla and I having brunch in Darwin, the 4x4 inch square photo. So I have demonstrated the stamp set to you already, but we're going to play with that again today. I probably could have demonstrated actually the border, the continual border, and oh my gosh, I could have done that with the I didn't even think that. I didn't even pull that out. The Stampin' Positioner, I could have demonstrated the Stampin' Positioner to you girls again. I have done that before. But maybe at my in-person workshops, I can show that to you on July 3rd and 4th, which by the time you see this video, oh my gosh, that's going to be this weekend. So this video will be scheduled to post on Tuesday 30th, and then I'm going to see you guys on Friday and Saturday, and I can't wait. I'm so excited because for many of you, I wouldn't have seen you since National Scrapbooking Day, which was on May 16. So let's get in. I am not showing you the stamping border technique today. I'm going to show you this fun technique. It's called rockin' and rollin'. It's a stamping technique. Can you see how we've got two colors mixed in there with this stamping here? I am using Pool Party and Tim and Tiger for my stamping, which looks so cute. So I've done the rocking and rolling technique here with One Fine Day. Not so much here with the ampersand, but I have done it here as well with the love it and the love heart. And then how cute is this? Look at this, the little tags that I've stamped. So this one I stamped in Pool Party and this one I stamped in Tim and Tiger, but then I stamped Good Times. Now this is a tiny little stamp. Here it is here. It's like one continual word, but I lined it, sorry, one continual word. It's a sentence, good times, or a sentiment, I should say. But it's too long that it doesn't fit in like the little lines. So I stamped good and then let it go off the edge with times because there was a gap in between there. And then I did that. How fun is that? That's so cute. And I did a little blue one that I journaled. Now you might be thinking there's not a lot of journaling on this page. I've just done Sunset Cruise Darwin, October 2021. The reason for that being is that if you listened to my video last week, I actually have already scrapbooked the majority of these photos, but they were mostly of us on the boat, eating the food and drinking the champagne, maybe one or two of the sunset, but this is obviously a whole sunset page, right? Because we took so many photos of that sunset, because let me tell you, the sunset in Darwin is incredible. But where I live in Adelaide, South Australia, the sun sets in the west, which is over the ocean. So the sun sets into the ocean like it does in Darwin. And it's just amazing. It's amazing. So I love the sun setting in the ocean. So good, so good, so good. So we're very spoiled for sunsets here, but hello, like as if I wasn't going to go to Darwin and do the sunset cruise. It was just honestly one of those moments that I will hold in my heart forever. Like I actually get a little emotional thinking about it because we just had the most beautiful experience. All right, should we do some rocking and rolling, girls? And I know some of you are thinking, what is she talking about? So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat. I have got some White Willow cardstock here. Oh my gosh, I did have it here. Here it is. It's just here, some White Willow cardstock. I've got my little block. I've got my Simply Chamois all ready to go. It's already wet and sitting in its stamp case. You can buy these stamp cases in 4 packs. So we are going to do, I'm going to pull out one of these stamps. Let's do it with the butterfly. Now you can see here, one of the things I love to do is when I'm kind of like doing stamping and die cutting. Oh, look, here's another one I've done. Here's one I prepared earlier. I don't know, why didn't I not use that? I think that looks good. Why didn't I use that on my layout? So if I'm doing like stamping and die cutting, sometimes, and especially if I'm like playing around with a new technique or something I want to show you guys, I will quite often like stamp and die cut. If I'm going to die cut something, I'm not just going to cut one thing. I'm going to make best use of my time, right? So if I do cut and stamp extra stuff, I typically just put it back in the folder with the stamp and dies. Let's play with the butterfly today. Should we do that? Pull this carrier sheet off. And good times. Every time I see that word. Sentiment, Sarah, it's not a word, it's 2 words together, but not long enough for a sentence. It's just a sentiment. Let's put the butterfly in here. How cute is that? So let's stamp the butterfly. I've got Pool Party and Tim and Tiger. I'm going to pop that open. Now you can see where I've done this rockin' and rollin' technique, and some of you might be worried about this, but I don't know. I just don't get too worried about that kind of stuff. I rocked it into like the Tim and Tiger first, and then I rolled it into the Pool Party, and you can see where I've got some of the orange on here as well, and that's how I've ended up with a bit of orange on my ampersand. I don't know, I just don't get too worried about that kind of stuff. Like some people would never in a million years ever do that, and that's okay if that's you don't, that's totally fine. But some people would be like, oh, she's saying that doesn't matter. Well, it just doesn't matter to me, right? And if it matters to you, I respect that. And then maybe this technique might not be for you. But if you don't matter, if it doesn't matter so much, because like there's a lot of space here on this pad, right? And we're going to be moving to these magnetic cases anyway. So you're going to have a bigger stamping surface or ink surface soon anyway. So we're just tapping that ink. You see I'm just tapping it and I'm using my Stampin' Pierce mat. So there's Pool Party. If I stamp that a second time without re-inking it, look at me. I'm giving you 2 techniques for the price of 1. This is second generation stamping. You can't see that super well because it's very faint, because Pool Party obviously is from the Subtles color collection. So there is our, there's just our stamping normally. Now I'm going to bring Timid Tiger in and you can tell I'm getting a little like, this is the last video I've got to do before I go away, guys. Can you believe it? I literally did 4 layouts in one day. And I recorded 1 video yesterday because the light was good. And then it went not so good. And then I'm doing the other 4 videos today. You can tell I'm on the home stretch now. I'm getting a little bit cheeky. So here is Timid Tiger. So stamped once and then a second time is second generation stamping, right? Now, is there a die for the butterfly? I don't think I've brought the dies in with me. I've been resetting each time in between and only bringing in what I need. No, I haven't brought the dies in with me. I'm pretty sure yes, there is a butterfly die, but it doesn't cut out all the little intricate pieces. It just cuts out the outside of the butterfly, right? So I've stamped that on there. Then I've got 4 butterflies ready to go, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of like roll it into the ink there. So I haven't got the whole way around. Now, if this is bothering you let's wipe that little excess off. Now, this is obviously not a technique that I do very often because the whole point is to just tap, tap like I've done there, right? Because when you're rocking and rolling, then yes, you are going to get ink around. And some days I love getting inky and then other days I don't like getting inky. So that's okay too. Sometimes I just love playing. It just is the vibe I'm feeling, right? And that's the beauty about being creative. Now, I'm just going to rock this on the edges of where I have got a bit of space. And let's stamp that and see what that looks like. Oh, stop. Doesn't that look cool? Now, obviously, I've ended up with ink here. Now, if anyone is watching this and you have a better way that I should be doing this, then please tell me. Because I would love to know. Let's do second generation, see what that looks like while I'm here. But this fun technique, I actually learnt this technique at an album retreat a really long time ago. And I was like, what is this sorcery? And I loved it. It was so fun. But you're going to get inky and you're going to make a little bit of mess and you might end up with a little bit of ink in your other ink pad. I think from memory, I've got a feeling that, I'm just going to grab my grid paper here. I've got a feeling that when we learnt this, they suggested rocking or rolling into the lighter color first. So let's try that. I feel like this is kind of giving me a little bit of memories. It's so hard to tell if I've got it on, right? I reckon we needed to do it into the lighter color first and then into the darker color after. Let's see if that was the vibe. I can't really see the Pool Party here. I think it was on the bottom. So let's just rock it into the, ooh. I think that's very Timid Tiger-y now, but that's okay. Yeah, way too Timid Tiger. So let's try that again. So can you see how this is just like trial and error? You know what? I'm going to actually stamp in here where the orange bits are. So this is what happened with my ampersand over here. I got some orange inside it and I picked up the ink from that. Let's see what that's going to look like. Oh, okay. Not too bad. So see, that hasn't made like that big of a deal, putting the orange in first. But I do want to try doing the lighter color. So you know what? It's just, I've got my grid paper here. I'm just getting off that extra. Okay, here's another thing you could do. If you don't want to rock and roll it in, you could just like do an ombre effect or a half and half. So we're just tapping one edge of the butterfly and then we're going to tap another half edge of the butterfly. So you're kind of off the edge. This is not rocking and rolling. Like you just need to like tap into the foam. Oh, look at that. Two-tone. Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, half and half. I'm just making up my own stamping techniques as I'm going. But see, girls, you can do the rocking and rolling. And the reason I ended up doing this is I had no stickers left over from my Extraordinary Life Scrapbooking Workshop kit. I had used all my stickers, and I'm not buying another DSP pack because I bought a second pack of the DSP, just the paper on its own. You can't buy the sticker sheet on its own. So you have to get the DSP with the sticker sheet. Now, I've already got the DSP. If I wanted another sheet of stickers, it means I've got to get another pack of DSP, and I don't need any more paper. I have used most of my paper. I don't need any more paper. Unless it's a collection I really, really, really love, and I know I'm going to use so much of it. Like, for example, exploring nature. We have so many outdoors photos that I have scrapbooked and I need to scrapbook, so that kind of stuff for sure. But these are not these papers are not themed, right? The colors, it's just the colors and the patterns and the design in it, right? It's not themed. It's not like I've got, well, I'm trying to think of something here that would make sense for me to explain it to you. Like if I was using, we had one lately which was called Hobby Haven. So all of the pictures on the DSP were like themed to hobbies, right? Or it might be, I'm trying to think of something. So it's specific to that theme, which means I would need to scrapbook something that would be specific to that theme of paper. I know that you know what I'm talking about. So these papers, the colors, like I could use these papers for anything, which really is great for everyday scrapbooking if you think about it. All right, so I'm just rocking the lighter color in first. I'm going to take this excess off here. Now, I know some of my ladies, my beautiful, beautiful ladies, they don't like getting all inky and dirty and their hands wet while they're scrapbooking. And girl, I hear you. Do you remember when I first started stamping, like in 2013, and I was like, oh, what? What are we going to be doing here? Making all this mess, and I'm not putting those ink on my pages. I'm not using those stamps on my scrapbook layouts. We just literally used papers and stickers. That was it. There was no stamping. Let's see if that works out. Oh, yes. Okay. So if you are worried about using the darker and the lighter colors together, rock it or roll it in the lighter color first, rock it and roll it in the darker color second. And this is the magic that you are going to end up with, okay? So I've got lots of little butterflies now. You're probably going to see these butterflies pop up on another layout at some stage later on down the track. Let's wipe my stamp off, my Simply Chamois. I'll put that back on the carrier sheet after. I'm just going to get this stuff out of the way to bring the scrapbook layout back into view. That is the rockin' and rollin' technique, girls. So you're going to earn a bonus ticket if you try this technique on your layout this week. And this is going to be our last scrapbooking challenge for June. Next week for July, we will be working with a new scrapbooking workshop kit and a new suite. And it's going to be the, where's my catalogue? I've got it here. For July, my July workshops, right at the end of July, not the June in July workshops, we are going to be doing this scrapbooking workshop kit, the Life in Bloom scrapbooking workshop kit. So when you guys come to my workshops on the 3rd and the 4th of July, I'm going to have all these layouts on display for you to look at, and we're going to be working with this scrapbooking workshop kit at the end of July, and you're going to be seeing me featuring this sweet collection throughout my July challenges. So next week, stay tuned. We start with a new sweet collection and designer series paper. How cool is that? Guys, thank you so much. By the time you watch this, I will literally be flying home in the air after our trip. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for participating. Don't forget, I'm giving extra bonus stamp and rewards away this month. So please refer to your email I sent on May 29, which has got information about that. And you will go into the draw if you participate. Have a great week, everyone. And for those of you booked in for my workshops on the 3rd and 4th, I look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now.